Well, that was embarrassing. My phone ran out of memory. So this is turned into a two-part video number 2. So it's going to be 2A and 2B. This is 2B, or not. So as I was saying, you know, it's a trade-off how much use you want to get out of your blade. Yeah, I just swapped this one out. So I'm gonna take one more layer off of here. Obviously you can see there's not much to take, so I'm not going to drop this down too much. There we go. Now we'll see how good the boy is. Skinny little shavings. So at this point, this is just essentially, this has become a cleanup. I don't think I'm gonna, I don't think going any thinner would be wise. And again, this is kind of what I was talking about before, where, you know, you can just kind of smooth off everything. This is about as thin as I think I can go. If I try and do anything more than this, it will turn into a total disaster. But as it is, this is nice and thin. This would be suitable, again, for onlays or for labels. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put this piece aside, and in a future video, we will turn this into label leather by lining it with Japanese paper. If you're doing leather labels, they should always be lined. Stamped leather labels. If you're going to be hand tooling, you can adhere the pared leather directly to the spine of the book. But if you're going to stamp labels, you want to line them with Japanese paper. You want to make sure everything's nice and firm, and it will make your life immensely easier. So that's as far as this guy goes. Now I'm going to come back. This is a piece of fairly thick leather, as you can see. I have marked it out as if these were the turn-ins. All right. So because this is so thick, I can, well, as I said in the last video, I generally infill on a leather binding with 2-ply board. So I'm going to set the Scharf-fix. This needs to go down this way a little bit. This is a little tricky to do from the side, but you know, it's a demo, so I think we'll be safe. Okay, so that catches a little bit, so that's about the same. That's set to this thickness. So then I can come back, and so this is where the board's going to go. These are my turn-ins. Let's just see how deep that cuts. That's a pretty deep cut. All right, so I'm going to pull this up a little bit so things don't get too scary. Now, you'll notice that I'm not using the little edge guide that comes with the machine. I've never had luck with that, and I will fully cop to it being my fault. So I just work to my, I've got an ink line here, as you can see, and I work to the line. This is why I've got my little mark here. It won't be perfect. Nothing is when you do it by hand, but that can also be, you can tweak that a little bit in the covering process. Keep in mind that if this were a full binding, this would be a big piece of leather that you'd have to kind of manipulate. But it's doable, and it's not as scary as it might sound. Another trick, actually, if you're pairing to a line, instead of pairing along where you're going to get a little, you're going to get some wiggle, sometimes it's easier to actually start at the line and pair away from it. And then just okay. Now in this case, I've actually taken the line away. I got right on the line there. But this is a useful alternate way to go. So at this point, you can see what we got. All right. And now I can do my finish. Yeah. All right, and just rinse and repeat. Again, you see I'm taking pretty narrow passes, easier to control, and again, this is where you want to make as few mistakes as possible. In bookbinding, as in other crafts, the trick isn't to do it right the first time, although you always strive for that. The trick is, can you fix it after you screw it up? Which some people consider the mark of a professional. I don't know if I go that far, but it's certainly the mark of a competent craftsman to be able to deal with the stuff that comes in out of left field. Nope, too wide. It'll tell you if you're trying to take too much off. Now, I won't lie, this takes a fair amount of practice. But for me, it has kind of, it works best for me. So this is one of those, if it ain't broke, don't fix it moments. Okay. You can't really see this, I realize, but this is pretty close. So then I can bring my turn-ins over, and that line will line up with the edge of the board, and then everything else will come over and lie flat. That's not the real board. This is just a for show. Anyway, so these are two two ways of working. Overall pairing, step pairing. The thing I wanted to say at the beginning is that in the past 40 odd years I've been doing this, it seems to me that skins are coming from the tanneries paired a little thinner. They used to be thicker. You have to pare away more. These days, they're not, and so thickness pairing is not something you should have to do on any kind of a regular basis for normal books. You should just be able to edge pair and take it from there. But for labels, as I say, if you want a label that looks nice and, you know, kind of the edge disappears as far as thickness goes, you know, once it's down on the spine, then you do need to thickness pair your leather for that. Okay, I'm going to quit before my phone tells me I'm out of memory again, and the next video will be some more Scharf-fix stuff. So thanks, and good luck with your pairing and Scharf-fixing.